Anyone who rides mountain bikes a ton knows that you're gonna have crashes. It's just how this sport goes. Y'all probably saw that crash in Sedona on my Instagram page where I just slammed on this 360 off a rock drop and landed right on my shoulder. Somehow, it's totally fine. A lot of that's definitely luck, but I think a big part of that too is being well trained. Going to the gym is critical if you want to be safe and prevent injuries. With 9 years of going to the gyms consistently now, I've got enough experience that I kind of know what works. I'm happy to show you guys what I've got set up, what works for me. I struggle pretty hard with the motivation to work out. The technique I found to overcome that was paying for a gym membership. If I was going to be held accountable by paying that monthly payment, I sure as heck was gonna get my money's worth. The most important exercises I do honestly don't even require that much equipment, but I've never wanted to do them at home. I just can't lay on the floor and suffer at home. It's not the right environment. This new reality of coronavirus meant that things were gonna be changing. I went ahead and put that gym membership on hold and I started driving around thrift stores looking for equipment. I needed to stay committed to mountain biking as my livelihood, and in the face of the new situation, I realized it was finally time to bite the bullet and be one of those people that invests in exercise equipment. I realized if I was gonna build out a home gym, I needed to do something that was gonna make me want to use it and work out and force myself to be motivated. I wanted to spend some money and do it right, to have a nice setup that I felt good using. When I started putting this all together, I instantly had visions of a dusty Bowflex in the corner that would turn into a coat rack. First thing I did was head by Tractor Supply Company and I bought a few of these horse stall mats. They're super thick, they weigh like 70 pounds a piece, but they're what every gym I've ever gone to has had for flooring. They work really well. For mountain biking, core muscles really to me seem like the most beneficial. If I could only work on one muscle group, and that's it would be the core. So what works for me are decline bench sit-ups, both straight and oblique style, where you hold a weight and you move it back and forth, either at the top or the bottom of each sit-up. I really like the ab straps. I notice if I haven't done those for a couple weeks and I do them, I get really sore in a good way. I also really like the ab rollout wheel thing. I don't even know what you call it. I got one at Goodwill for $4 and those things, in my experience, work pretty darn well. Simple planks work fantastic. Honestly, I think push-ups are a great core strength builder as well. My wrists don't bend very far and they've had so many hard landings, they hurt pretty bad with my body weight on them. So I do really well with a handle. I actually spent money and bought perfect push-up handles. I just use these so my hands don't hurt. Push-ups are great because they work on your core, they work on your triceps, they work on your chest. Push-ups are great. I like to put one foot up on a balance ball, medicine ball, Bosu ball, and have the other foot suspended in the air. When you're charging down a fast section of trail, you're just constantly getting pounded like you're doing a bench press or a push-up. And I do think bench presses and push-ups kind of play off each other really well. Push-up is more beneficial, requires less gear, but then the bench press is a good way of getting ready for those really big, heavy hits. So I've always done some bench pressing, never tons of weight. But having a squat rack would allow for bench presses, squats, it'd be a nice place to do deadlifts. And I actually got one that would allow for lat pull downs, tricep pull downs, and even seated rows, though I rarely do those. Anytime I'm doing a lot of big jumps to flat, huck to flats, I notice that my triceps will be sore the next day. I need to get some dip handles for my squat rack. Tricep pull downs are a heck of a lot better than nothing. Push-ups certainly help. That's one spot where I could definitely stand to get stronger. The squat rack does have a built-in pull-up bar, but with a bench in place, it would prevent me from getting to that pull-up bar easily. And I wanted a pull-up bar where I could hit it every single day and have something that I can easily access. I've broken my pelvis 3 different times now, and physical therapists have told me how good it is to do one-legged stuff on a Bosu ball. Now, I do one-legged deadlifts without a ton of weight, and it's not really gonna get me super strong, but it's gonna get all those stabilizers firing. And doing the one-legged pistol squats is a great way to get the quadriceps going, and it works on the balance and stabilizers as well. Some folks call that gimmicky. Those folks are usually like power lifters or whatnot, and my goal is not to become bulky, it's not to become crazy strong, it's just to become a good mountain biker. If you are trying to build out your own home gym setup, I think the most crucial thing would be the pull-up bar. Probably some gymnastics rings hanging from a pull-up bar would be like pretty bare bones, but very effective. Bosu ball, ab rollers. I like those perfect push-up handles. I've used those for years. Beyond that, like that's really the basics you need, and that doesn't cost a whole lot of money. For resistance bands, I just use some old inner tubes. That helps me with shoulders, pulling them internally and externally, rotating them. I do think squats are very beneficial for mountain bikers. They work out the core muscles too, not just the legs. I usually do a lot of goblet squats, but I don't have a 80, 90 pound kettlebell here at the house. Without an expensive and big kettlebell, I'm just gonna use the squat rack, and that's gonna be a heck of a lot better than nothing. I bought the squat rack on Amazon. I have a link to it down below. It's okay, it can flex around a good bit, so don't try and do gnarly, super heavy lifting with it. One thing that's kind of cool, the pull-up bar I bought, I got it through Amazon, and turns out that a mountain biker owns the company, and he's following me on Instagram. He sent me a quick message to say, hey, thanks for the purchase, so that's kind of cool. The biggest obstacle I've ran into so far is that all the weights are sold out on Amazon. All the thrift stores are out of weights. Now the thrift stores are all closed too. All I could find are those two 45-pound plates. And that was at a local Bellingham gym equipment supply store, which is now shut down. So if any of you here in Bellingham have some Olympic-sized weight plates, like 35, 25, 10-pound plates, I would really like to borrow those until they come back in stock online and I can buy some. So for all you locals, drop me a note in the comments, send me an email if you have some weights that I could beg, borrow, buy, steal, whatever. One of the most critical things you can do at home without any equipment is yoga. I wish I had more time to go to more yoga classes. I generally have to pick between yoga and lifting. If I have to pick, I will do weights over yoga. Yoga is very helpful, but for me personally, I'm not that strong genetically, so I need that extra mass. The stretching with yoga and the balance is key, and I just noticed a better kinesthetic awareness and a just better proprioception. My cornering gets better after a lot of yoga. Online, there's a lot of good YouTube yoga instructors. Yoga with Adrienne, for instance. I'll put a link to her stuff up here. She's got some great routines you can do. I have a really simple yoga sequence I do before bed every night. It's just like 5 or 6 moves, but it helps stretch out legs, core, and shoulders. I think it's crucial to ask, how do you stay motivated to work out and stay in shape for your bike? For me, it's always been going to the gym, having a membership, making that commitment. Now it's gonna have to be to utilize all this junk I just put in my garage. I'm pretty happy with this setup, and it's quite pleasant with the garage door to being open to work out in here, not some sweaty, gross gym with Linkin Park blaring. If you have any questions for me on what I think of all this stuff, where I got it, yada, 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 leave them in the comments below. And enjoy your time in the gym.